Good morning, dear all. I, Sunita Ramesh, the student counselor of SJPUC, extend my warm welcome to all the participants, the parents, the principal, the vice principal, the campus minister, and staff of SJPUC to this informative career guidance webinar 2020. I also extend my warm greetings to Dr. Asha Sid and her team. Firstly, let us thank God for keeping us safe and healthy amidst this situation. This career guidance webinar, organized by Sadhana, the counseling cell of the college, will be conducted by a well known counseling academy, Dr. Asha Sid Academy, Malleshwaram, with the founder herself as the keynote speaker. I request all the participants to have a notebook to note down the key points. This career guidance webinar is a unique opportunity designed for the students of SJPUC for them to discern and decide their future. This program will begin with a short prayer. Next, Ms. Sylvia Fernandez, the coordinator of the counseling cell, will introduce the keynote speaker. The career guidance talk will then extend for about an hour. The chat box will be enabled for question and answer session for 15 minutes towards the end of the talk. The participants can then post their queries in the chat box. Please post only relevant queries. Any irrelevant query will not be answered.
We'll write the word.
Let us invoke God's blessings. Please close your eyes and join together for a prayer. Heavenly Father, I commit our students, their parents, our management, staff, and resource person into your hands. You are the great healer and redeemer. You are our hope even while the world is being engulfed by the pandemic. With this hope, we begin today's career guidance program to shape the future of our students. Lord, help our students identify their potential, passion, and the path into their future guided by today's talk. Bless each one of us with good health and wisdom to stay safe through this testing time. Lord, bless that all the efforts of the organizers and the resource people of this program to come to fruition. I ask this prayer in your holy name. Amen. Over to Ms. Sylvia Fernandez for the introduction of the guest speaker.
Thank you, Miss Sunita, for invoking the Almighty's presence amongst us. A very good morning to our esteemed guest, Dr. Asha Sid, the management, staff, parents, and my dear students. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker of the day, Dr. Asha Sid. Dr. Asha is a certified psychotherapist, a counselor, and a life skills trainer who has mentored numerous aspiring counselors for nearly 2 decades. She is qualified with a master's degree in applied psychology and a PhD from Kolkata, and has been trained in various forms of psychotherapy like CBT, art therapy, dance therapy, sound healing, etc. She is a certified and qualified psychometric professional and regularly does psychometric assessments as per the requirements of individuals and institutions. Dr. Asha is on the panel of career counselors for the Times of India and has written columns on career counseling in the Education Times and other publications, and has been interviewed on TV and radio for career guidance and other aspects too. The organization is named Dr. Asha Sid Academy for guidance and counseling and offers various services. She is the former director of academics at Banjara Academy, Bangalore, and continues to be their leading faculty for various courses in counseling, life skills, and other related courses. Dr. Asha provides corporate training as well as training to educational institutions. She is closely associated with SJPUC, imparting life skills to her students, and has conducted sessions for parents on effective parenting. I've had the privilege of knowing Dr. Asha personally, and I have always admired her quality of being punctual and her willingness to always help. She's a perfect example for a person who thinks both from her heart and her mind. A vibrant personality with a beautiful smile. A perfect combination where empathy meets practicality. She's a humane and compassionate person and reaches out genuinely to touch hearts wherever she goes. Ma'am, it's indeed a pleasure having you here with us. Our students are blessed to learn from you today. On behalf of the management, staff, and students of SJPUC, I extend a very warm welcome to you. Now, I request Dr. Asha to kindly take over the session. Over to you, Dr. Asha.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for those kind words. Thank you, Sunita, and thank you, the management of to SJPUC. And good morning to all the students and the parents who are watching this program and hoping to get some information that you were probably seeking for. Well, just I would like to tell you that yes, this session will be very informative. But before that, I would like to tell all of us, including me, everybody here, we are living in a world which is a world of a new order. The order of the world has changed because of the pandemic. A lot about the world has changed, and we are slowly stepping into something which is very new, something which we did not know hitherto. And in those circumstances, a lot of what you do and what you say and what you think is also going to change. Like just the way that you're learning right now, you aren't going to college anymore, you're sitting at home and learning. You're sitting in front of your computer and you were learning. So that's a big shift. Previously, you used to enjoy going out and talking to your students, talking to your friends, hanging around in the college corridors, laughing at a joke, and all of that. Now that's been taken away. Nevertheless, we all have to get used to the changing world and learn to live with this pandemic. So, my only message in the beginning is stay safe, listen to what I have to say, because there are certain decisions that you have taken and you have reached the place that you have reached. Some of you may have thought clearly about it. Some of you may have just said, okay, I don't like this, hence I'm here. So now let's look at what happened to you until now. Until now, when you were in 10th standard, all that you heard adults around you tell you was study, study, study. You have to get good grades, only then you will get into a good college, and you have to do that, and you have to do this. And probably you got a little too bored with the same messages coming in from different directions. And then you said, what is all this about? And then 10th happened and the board exams happened, and then you got your results, and by which time you looked at your friends. Some of them said, we want to be engineers, we want to be doctors, we want to do that, we want to do this. Somebody else said, I will like acting. And you were totally confused at that point of time. And wow, what was it? Was that you said, I don't like math? Probably some of you said this to yourselves. I don't like math, I don't like science, hence I'm going to go into commerce because it looks like the best alternate that is available. Because I hear a lot of children talking about something called scope, something, or what is the best that I can do. That was the only choice that I had. No, choices in life are not made that way, not made about I don't like science, I don't like math. It is made on a different basis itself. It's like walking on a road and saying, where do I want to go? You can't just walk on a road, pick a road and walk on it to the end of the road because you don't know where you're going. You need to know where you have to go. If you have to go somewhere, let's say you are a resident of Krishnarajpuram, and then you decide that you want to go to JP Nagar, you have to know which direction you have to go, whether you to go north, south, east, west. I don't know it myself, but then you have to decide for yourself which direction. At least you have to know, where do I go next? Which bus do I take, which will take me towards JP Nagar? You can't hop into a bus which is standing there and say, take me where you're going, and I will figure out on the way. That way, you will be going round and round in circles. That is why a lot of us teachers, adults in your lives would have told you, have goals in life, know where you want to go. It's easier said than done. Adults seem to keep just telling you, have goals in life, have goals in life. But how do I make these goals? In your language, how the hell do I make these goals? As an adult, I'd say, how do I make these goals? Do I even know what I want to do? Because the world is, we are in a place where longevity is increasing, barring the pandemic, longevity is increasing. And it is said, research says that in this world there are already people who will live for 150 years. So if you look at that, you're all just 16 years old. If you have to live for 150 years, so imagine how long your life is going to be. So you have to live that long, and when you have to live that long, you have to do something with yourself every day. At least you have to work for maybe another 70 years after you finish your graduation, maybe up to 85. I am from a generation which was blessed, and I could say at 60, I can put up my feet and say, I don't want to work anymore. I can do something, but I am not saying it. If you want to look at me as a person, I'm not saying it. I want to work till I'm 80. I'm fit, I'm fine, as long as my mind and my body is active and I want to work. So if I'm able to say that, imagine what you guys will be doing. You have a long work life, you have a long place to go. So now you have to decide and say, where exactly do I want to be 20 years from now? What exactly do I want to do 20 years from now? You're 16, so 20 years from now would be around 36. So you would have finished your graduation, you would have started working, you will have a job, you'll have a family, you will have a spouse, you will probably have children, or some of you may have well established careers, you will be jet setting, you will be going here and there. But you have to know what kind of a lifestyle you need to know lead. You have to know what kind of a job you would like to do, what kind of a career you would like to pursue. That brings me to the question, there is there's a difference between job and career. Not many people really understand that there is a difference between having a job and having a career. What is the difference and what is a job? A job is something that you do for a remuneration, for a pay. It is meant for sustenance, it is meant for survival, it is meant to get something so that you can eat and live. That's a job that you do. There may be jobs which you're not happy about, but then it gives you what you need. It takes care of all your needs. Hence, you do a job. And what is a career? A career is nothing but a job that you do, which will also give you a sense of accomplishment, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of happiness. It makes you happy, it makes you energized. Otherwise, imagine every morning you're going out and then you're saying, oh my God, I have to go out today and I have to do the same thing again and again, and I don't want to do it. So that becomes a job. Whereas a career is something which you say, wow, if I go today, I can do so much and I have a new idea coming up. I can implement this idea, or I can at least discuss it with my boss. Probably we can bring a change. Probably there is more growth out there for me. I can learn something new which will add to what I already do. I will ease things out. That becomes a profession, that becomes a career. It's not that just engineering and medicine and doctors are professional courses. There are a lot of professional courses even for commerce students. Now, when can you make the best career decisions? What is this career guidance all about? It's not about, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, you do this, hey, you do this. No, that's not how it works. Career guidance is for you to understand, where do I want to be? What kind of a lifestyle do I want to lead? What is it that makes me happy? What would I like to do? Are you a person who would like to sit in front of a computer and do some work? Are you somebody who would like to go out and meet people and talk to people? Are you a creative guy? Are you creative, and does creation, does uh, art, does those things excite you? Do languages excite you? What about it? What is it that you would like to lead, like to do? That is what you have to think of. Are you good with numbers? Are you good with languages? Are you good with critical thinking? So when you are thinking of all those things, that is when you can understand what you would like to do for the rest of your uh, life. Now, most often, when me including, when I was 15, when I was your age, I made a lot of foolish decisions, and then I backtracked and I changed my life. I'm here today where I am. Notwithstanding that, just to give you a glimpse into where I was, I studied commerce and then decided that I don't like commerce, and I redid my education and then moved into the field of psychology. So now there was not many people who helped me, but today you have opportunities where people are guiding you. And also, when I lived my world, there were lesser opportunities. The competition was lesser, but there were lesser opportunities. You all live in a world which is growing so rapidly that there are a lot of opportunities. You're all talking of competition, you're all talking of the cutting edge and all of those things. But let me assure you that there are a lot more opportunities available than there ever was before. So now, how do you make use of those things? How do you actually decide? The ideal way to decide is not to look at what your friends are doing, not to get influenced by what your friends are doing, not to say, oh, my friend is doing that, then my friend is saying this, so hence it must be better I would do it. No, that's not the best way. It's not also to blindly follow what adults in your life tell you. I'm not asking you to disobey your parents. I'm not asking you to just rebel against your parents and everything that they say. There may be value in what they say, but then to sit and question, to sit and research, and then say, this is what I would like to do. These are my skill sets, and this is what I would like to do. So, how do you make these good career choices? What you really need to understand and what you really need to do is there are two aspects when you're making a career choice. One is your interest, and two is your aptitude. What is this interest? So, at your age, or including me, we have passing interest. So, today I'm interested in gardening, tomorrow I'm interested in photography, the day after I'm interested in Netflix and seeing how they make it, how they make movies. Interests are as many. Every time I see something new, every time something appears as novel, so you feel like, oh, I want to do this too. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong in being excited about new things available, new things that you see. But if you are a person who has interests which are just passing away, like how many of you have learned guitar and went for guitar classes for a month and then said, oh no, I don't want to do this. And then you move to the keyboard, and then you move to football, and then you move to something else. And you did a whole lot of things and nothing sustained. When you're making a career choice, the interest that I'm talking of has to be sustained. It has to stay with you, lingering with you. It, everything that you learn about it, you go deeper and deeper. You want to learn more about it. You're interested in. You seem to be forever talking about that passion of yours, that idea of yours, and that is whatever you want to do. That is called the interest. And aptitude. What is this aptitude? All of us are born in this world. Whoever the creator was, you call him Lord, you call him by any name, the creator of this universe and the creator of the human race or the living race in this world did not create junk. He created everybody with some innate strength in them. And each of you sitting out there and listening to me, each of us who are in the part of the organization, the organizing committee, all of us have been created with unique strengths. We have what we are good at, what we are capable. And when we have these strengths, we are also, along with it, we are given a certain amount of intelligence, certain amount of ability to learn new things. Not everybody can learn to be a potter. Not everybody can learn to be a good chef. So when we are saying this, some people are good at some things. So this is your ability. The ability to learn a new skill, your potential to learn. Not all of you will have all the strengths or all the skills that are required to reaching the goal that you want to reach. But then you have certain skill sets. Everybody has multiple intelligences. So you have the intelligences or the potential to develop the skills necessary to work towards your goal. That is known as aptitude. For some of us, it may be dormant, it may be lying silent. But if you have to kindle it a little, you will know I have the ability to learn this, and then hence you can go forward. And only when this interest and this aptitude meet, when you have the aptitude to take your interest to a higher level, that is when you will actually get into a career which is suitable for you and at which you will shine. So keep it in mind. Don't blindly follow anybody. Don't have the herd mentality. And it is not necessary that it's the only intelligent people who will have good careers. It's only the science students who will have good careers. No, that's not true. Let me also tell you that Apart from science, the world is opening up. There's a lot that you can do, even if you have chosen not to study science and maths. So, with that, let me also, I just want you to ask yourself, what is it that made you choose the stream that you chose? Was it because you did not like science and math? Or was it that you were looking at something else? If you chose these two subjects, these two streams, commerce or humanities, because you did not like science and maths and you said, I'm done with studying so hard, I don't want to do it, then maybe it's time for reflection, because you still have time by the time you make the next choice. You're now into a particular stream and you make the next choice after 12th standard. You have these 2 years. Use these 2 years judiciously to reflect, to introspect, and say, what is it that I want to achieve in life? All of us are meant to achieve something. It need not be big things, it could be small things, but something done well. So, what is it that I would like to do? It's time for reflection and say, what do I want to do? I say this because such of you, I'm also now going into asking you, you know, looking at the options available that the students who've chosen commerce have, the options that people who studied humanities, who have chosen to study humanities also. I'm going to list down all the opportunities. What is true is that once you have chosen commerce and arts, there's only one way that you can progress. You've chosen commerce for some reason, and you are slowly realizing, not right now because just now college has started, you're still at the basics. So, after some time, after some amount of passage of time has happened, you may realize that commerce is not really what you wanted to do. Then the only option that you have is to move into humanities or to move into other fields. There's only a downward progression. So, for such of you who have chosen humanities, what you've done is you blocked out science, you've blocked out all commercial aspects of life, and you only can focus on humanities. But don't worry, it's not a narrow field. Humanities also, there's a lot that you can do. And hence, now I'm going to open up and then talk to you about how many opportunities are there. I will go briefly into each of those opportunities, what you need to do, and all of those things. I'm just going to list down the careers that are open to commerce students, whatever may be the optional subjects that you've chosen. I know you study accounts, commerce students, necessarily you study the three majors, that is accounts, business studies, and economics. Those are the three that you definitely will study. The fourth becomes an optional subject that you study. Again, you can study in some colleges depending on your college and the optionals that they offer you. Okay, now what are these? What are the careers that are open to commerce students? One, you can get into any field which is related to business. And next, that is, I'm talking of business management. You can get into accounting, you can get into finances, you can get into marketing. That all that umbrella comes under business studies. Then law as a career is open to you. You can actually, after your POC, do an integrated law course where you can do BCom with LLB, and you can come out as an lawyer who also has LLB. And then you can get into the management fields. You can either get into business administration, you can get into an MBA. I'll tell you what you need. You can get into management. Hitherto, there will be a little confusion about this. Hitherto, architecture was open to people who did commerce at PU level with maths, not the basic math, but the advanced math. If you had done, then you were eligible to do architecture, but now it is being taken away. You cannot do architecture if you have chosen to study commerce at the 11th and 12th. Then there are creative careers. There are creative careers as in fine arts, media studies, advertisement, design careers, journalism, filmmaking, photography, animation, and so on and so forth. You can get into the aviation industry. Yes, you can get into the ground maintenance. You can get into you can get into the being an steward, or you can be an you can't be an air hostess, obviously. The counterpart, the male, is known as the crew is known as a steward, air steward. Men, boys are called air stewards. And then you can also do your BSc. This must be surprising. When I say BSc, I'm just bringing in the name of the course here, because you can study economics, you can study economics, and you can call yourself a science graduate, because now they're classifying economics as science, not so much as an arts but as a science. There are lots of colleges which are offering BSc economics and things like that. Next, you can also, if you're chosen, you can go into professional courses like the chartered accountancy, company secretary, cost and management accountant. Then you can do the chartered accountant. Then you can get into the hospitality management. You can go into travel and tourism. Then you can go into teaching. And then you can, yeah, that's what commerce students can do. How to go about it, I'll tell you. Now look at humanities. Humanities, what did you take away? You only took away the commerce subjects, but then you have a lot more. Arts humanities students can also get into management. You can do your BBA, you can do your BBM, you can get into law, you can go into law, you can go into, in BA there are, I mean, BA is a course, but in humanities you can go into economics, majoring in economics, majoring in geography, majoring in languages, depending on what you want to do. Hospitality management is open to you. Travel and tourism is open to you. Creative careers, like I was mentioning for the commerce guys, even that is open to you. Then you have again the aviation, the air steward. Then you have teaching. You can do your nursery teacher training. You can teach primary school. You can teach middle school, high school, and you can actually progress into being a college teacher as well, provided you do. So now, how do you go about each of these careers? Now, I again come back to the commerce students. Now, after your commerce, you decide that you like accounts as a subject. You like decide you would learn. I don't know how many of you decided that you want to be a chartered accountant. So now, what do you do? How do you become a chartered accountant? Is the question. Chartered accountant, there are two ways to go into it. You can take the common proficiency test, that's called the CPT, after the 12th exam, and then you can go directly into the inter. If you finish your CPT, you can go into what is known as the CPT. For that, you have to enroll for CPT. Even now, you're permitted to enroll into CPT. The fees is about 8,000 rupees. They will give you study material. Some places they even offer you coaching for that, but you can do it side by side with your studies, but that is your PU studies. You can study for CPT. You can write the exam, however, only after your 12th standard, and you also need to be enrolled for the CPT 8 months before the CPT test. That is when you can write. So go ahead, get into the, go and explore the All India Institute of Chartered Accountants. Go to their website and then look at how you can do CPT. Never mind, you don't want to do that. Then you finish your 12th standard and then you can enroll for what is known as the foundation course. Foundation course, there are classes, you enter foundation, you finish foundation and pass foundation, and then you go into the inter. You go into the inter, and after inter, this is the entry route. For this, you can study any PUC. To take CPT, you can study any PUC, not humanities, of course. Science and commerce people are permitted to go into this, because you need a strong grounding of mathematics. Not just that, to become a chartered accountant, you really need to know what the job is. The job is to sit in front of a computer. This job is to pore over somebody's books. Now there are no books. It's all on the computer. So you have to pore, and then you have to have a very critical eye. You have to actually look at, is there any evasion of tax? Is there any law that has not been met? So you have to look at all of those things. You need to be a person who's satisfied sitting in a place and then working. You need to be a person who's very good with numbers. Number crunching should be your game. You should be very good at it. And then you go into the inter. And after the inter, you take up articleship, which is a minimum of 2.5 years. Nobody clears their articleship in 2.5 years. It takes a little while longer, because you work under a certified chartered accountant, and he has to tell the board that you're qualified and you're sufficiently trained to take up the exam. And then you take the inter, after you then they take up the final exam. There are many people, chartered accountancy is not that you take an exam and you're declared pass. No, it is almost like the IAS, where they say that if you don't, if if the opportunity, the market requires X number of chartered accountants, it's only those number of chartered accountants who are going to be said declared pass or going to be declared as uh, chartered accountants who can practice. And let me warn you, if you said, I want to do chartered accountancy, it is a difficult journey. It is hard, but you can do it. Don't give up. Say, oh, I don't want to do it. Ma'am said it is hard, so I'm going to change my track and then I'm going to do it. No, be determined and say, I'll do it. You can do it. All of us can do it if, as long as you enjoy basic math and you're good with numbers and some amount of stats too. So if you're doing that, that is the way to get into the chartered accountancy. Now there is another YMD. You decided that you wanted to do chartered accountancy. You took up, then you could not clear your intern. You cleared your foundation, but you could not clear your intern. You can do what is now called as the certified accountant, chartered accountant, which is governed by the UK rules. You can do that course as well. It is called ACCA. You can do, it's not just people who took up chartered accountancy and who couldn't qualify who do ACCA. Some of you will say, I don't want to go through this chartered accountancy because it seems to take forever to do it. It'll take away another 8-9 years after I finish my PUC. I don't want to be there. If you clear it well, you can finish it in 4 years. If you don't clear it well, it will take about 8 years. I have known of students who finished it along with their BCom, just one exam after they become additional. And the youngest chartered accountant is 21. So you can complete it. If you don't want to do that, you can enroll for a chartered accountant, which you're not a CA, but you're called an ACCA. You there again, you learn accounting, and that goes in 3 different levels, almost similar to CA, but the rules are governed by the UK syllabus and the UK studies. That is the Great Britain or United Kingdom. Next, that is one. If these two are not enough, you can do what is known as the company secretary. Who is a company secretary? A company secretary is a person who knows the laws of the land. Every public limited company, every private limited company is governed by the law of our country to have certain rules, to have certain regulations. They have to comply with some taxation rules, some licensing rules. And a company secretary is a person who governs that the company follows these rules, follows these laws. And so this company secretary is employed by them. Some of them are employed by the companies, some of them work as consultants. They have their own practice and they work as consultants for multiple companies. Like chartered accountants, they also have their own practice. They work with multiple companies, they are paid by the hour. That is one. Normally, company secretaries are people who not only do their company secretary course, but they also do their law side by side, because you need to know a lot of the law of the land. Next is the CMA. They used to be hitherto called as cost and works accountants, but now they're being called cost and management accountant. There are two ways, CMA and CIMA. There's a slight verification in the bifurcation in that, but don't worry. Just look at cost and management accounting. Then you can also get into the banking industry. You can get into the financial industry. For all of that, you can do BCom and then progress into your masters and do things like CFA. There are financial management courses which are offered by many MBA schools. MBA you can do with financial. You move into the financial stream. That is as far as the accounting is called. This package is for students who are very good with accounting. Now, let's say you don't like accounts, so you say, no, that's not what I want to be doing. I want to be a people's person. I'm a people's person. I want to be managing. I want to be at the managerial level. Yes, then you can move into the management. Now, management is a degree or a profession that you learn to study only at the postgraduate level. You don't study it at the undergrad level. You study it only at the postgrad level. So now what do? So after UPOC, you can either choose to study commerce, BCom, or you can choose to study BBA or BBM. The difference between BBA and BBM is slight, marginal. There are only subjects which are changed, hence the nomenclature changes as BBA and BBM. They're almost akin to each other. So don't worry if you're doing BBA or BBM if you take up. Both are the same. You can do business administration or business management. Both ultimately lead you to the same thing. Otherwise, you can do law. All of you can do law. How do you become a lawyer? This is true for both humanities, people doing humanities and commerce. How do you become a lawyer? After you finish your second PUC, you can take up what is known as the CLAT. There are a few other exams which you can take. One for the NLS. Then now there's an furore going on that NLS wants to have a separate entrance exam. These things keep changing, but CLAT has remained. So all of you will have to take the CLAT if you want to become a lawyer. And you can take, and then you get your admission into the law schools with CLAT, and you get into the premier schools, and you can study law, which is a 5 year, 3 year course. Not 3 year, I'm sorry. It is a LLB is a 5 year course. You can finish your 5 year course, and then if you don't get a good ranking like CLAT, which is an common entrance test, you can also do law with the local colleges. Many colleges do offer you integrated courses where you come out as a graduate with either humanities or with commerce, and then you also come out as a lawyer. That's an option. Some of you are interested in computers. Say, I want to move into the field of computers, but I am not actually interested in either accountancy, or I don't want to do business management, but I want to move into computers. You can do BCA, or you can move into the field of computers. You can do BCA and MCA, that's a course. You can do it provided you have taken up math in the 11th and 12th. With math, you can move into computers. Next, you can go into creative. Such a few are interested in dance and in music. You can go into fine arts, music, dance, and painting. Then media studies, which is true for both humanities and commerce. Media studies is where you become a journalist. You can become what do you say, mass media, mass communication. Media is in three forms now: the electronic media, the print media, the voice media. You have social media, all of that. Social media is also catching up. And then advertisement, you can go into advertisement. You can go into bead design, fashion design, leather designing, any of that you can go. Journalism, filmmaking, photography, animation, all of these are courses which are also available. These are all careers. For aviation, you can do any graduation. After PUC, there are private institutes which offer training in being an air hostess, air steward. You can take that training, and then you can move into, and most of them are run by the airlines themselves. Then you can study economics. Economics, where do you find positions? Yes, in the banking field, you have economists. In many leading multinational companies, they have their own economists on board because they need to study the market. They're economists. In what do you say, multinational companies, in banking, you have economist posts. Then you have you can become a bureaucrat and do economics. You can become a teacher if you want to study economics. And then I've just told you, teaching. For students who have chosen commerce, your teaching opportunity for school will only be the basic subjects, what you studied in your school. So you cannot teach commerce, or you can only teach commerce, business accounting, business studies and accounting in schools which offer at the 11th and 12th these subjects. So what do you have to do? You can do your B.Ed, you can do your M.Ed, and then go into the teaching profession if you like it. You can go into hospitality management, which is hitherto was called hotel management. There are a lot of colleges in Bangalore which offer hospitality management with BCom as well, or you can do it along with your humanities. You can even do plain hospitality management and move into the hotel industry as well. Travel and tourism, there are lots of colleges which offer BCom with travel and tourism, BA with travel and tourism. So now, how do you select? This is the ways to go about it. All of this does not have entrance exams except for the CA, the ACCA, and except for CA, not many have entrance exams. CLAT has, CA has entrance exams. And yes, if you want to move into the management profession after your basic graduation, then you will have to look at taking up the CAT, and then you will have to do your MBA. And MBA also can be done in multiple forms. You can do it with a local college, you can do it with local universities, or you can do it with the IIMs. IIMs has a brand name and has a tag by itself. For that, you have to take up the CAT exams. For the local colleges, they also take your CAT scores, but they have their own entrance. Many local colleges have their own entrance exams, and if you qualify that entrance exam, you can do your masters in business management. These are all the opportunities that are available for commerce students. Now, for humanities, many of the things that I was speaking of hitherto still get covered. But here, commerce students, please pay attention to what I'm talking when I'm talking about humanities, because in case you decide to change track, you can also do all of those things that the humanities students can do. What is available to the humanities students? Management as a profession is available. The route: do BBA, do BBM, and then move into the MBA, and you become a management profession. Law is open to even humanities students. You can go there and you can do it. Again, the same rules apply. Then, in when you just study plain humanities, depending on the subjects that you have chosen, you can go and do philosophical studies, you can do economics, you can do geography, languages. Right now, people will think, oh, I'm good at languages, but what can I do? I can only be a teacher. No, that's not true at all. It's not true, because language is gaining importance as the world is shrinking. You have a lot of people who are sitting in India and doing work for Chinese. I know of two young girls who studied Chinese. Chinese is a very difficult language to learn. Even people in China do not know all, because there are about, I don't even know, it runs in thousands. That number of alphabet itself, the letters in the alphabet is that many. So they have become professors of Chinese language. And now they're sitting down and translating Chinese language into other languages. They have learned multiple foreign languages. So there is a lot of opportunity when you learn languages. Don't think, if you're good at languages, don't think, oh no, what, I will be a college teacher, I will be a school teacher, my life is so limited. Don't look down upon yourself. Language is opening up. You can actually sit in your home and translate so many things. In fact, people who know German, there is a lot of demand for people who will translate German into other languages, because Germany is a country where people in, it's a lot of into the automobile industry, into the mechanical industry. So there they have a lot of manuals which need to be translated. All their studies, they needed to be translated. So language, yes. Do you know that NASA is now recruiting people who are good in Sanskrit, who are masters of Sanskrit, because they're translating ancient Sanskrit texts into English. Then there is an opportunity out there. So don't look, okay, say, what can I do with language? Yes, political science. Language has uh, a lot of scope out there. Yes, it may look like initially you may have to struggle to get the right break. Embassies, our foreign embassies which are there in our country all over, they recruit people with good language skills, because they need people to converse in different languages. So if any one of you is good in languages and are picking up foreign languages, don't limit yourself to only Indian languages. Pick up a couple of foreign languages as well. It's hard work, but then it pays in the end. My own niece, she's learned French, she's learned Spanish, and she's employed in an embassy. I don't want to reveal more than that. She's employed. She's just an ordinary, what do you say? Traditionally, that's what we were called, ordinary BA graduate. But then she learned this language, and because of her language skills, she's employed at an embassy in India itself. So next, history. People of such of you who study history, there are historians. There are people who can move into literature, you can move into teaching, you can move into anything. History, psychology, the world of psychology is opening up now. In India, especially, there the world for psychologists, it's opening up. Just take the pandemic that is happening. There is such a great need for mental health professionals. We do not have enough mental health professions to take care of everybody who's going through a situation, everybody who's going through some kind of a dilemma, some kind of an stressful situation. There are not many mental health professionals out there. And who are the mental health professionals? People who study psychology. Study psychology if you're interested in how the brain works, if you're interested in human beings, if you have a service oriented mind. Please take up. Yeah, the hitherto message was psychologists don't earn anything. Oh, you will have to be a poor person. You will forever be a middle class person. No, that is not true. There are opportunities out there. Yes, psychologists may not earn as much as a software professional does, but psychologists earn a lot more than anybody else in this world. The satisfaction of having known that you've helped somebody, teachers, psychologists, these are the people who carry that. You're paid in kind, you're not paid in money. I'm not saying we're all poor people psychologists. We can survive, we can make enough money. Psychology as a field is opening up. Psychology has certain divisions into it. Even commerce student can opt out and do psychology. You can do psychology, you can do organizational psychology, you can do counseling psychology, you can do multiple things. And where are the opportunities? Every industry also there is. Become students, please hear this. There is a new thing, not new thing, it's already there. Marketing psychology or consumer behavior is a big thing. Data analysts, people who are looking at it, it is psychology. Places like Amazon also employ people who have studied psychology. They know how the consumer works. And you can do social sciences, you can do liberal arts, travel and tourism. Travel and tourism, what will you do? If you study travel and tourism, what are you doing? You're actually planning. Such of you who got the travel bug in you, don't think that travel and tourism professionals are always traveling all over the world. They don't. They sit in a place and they're making packages so that other people can travel. All right, but you have a keen sense. If you do travel and tourism and then after a while you get bored with create, creating packages and doing travel planning for others and all of that, what can you do? You can sit down and start writing. Start writing about various countries. If you've got a flair with languages, you can mix two careers. Hospitality management, I've already explained. Then, what are the other things? The journalism, people who want to move into the media. Journalism is, like I was telling you, media and journalism is print media, electronic media, the visual media. If you're good at talking, the radio jockeying, the television jockeying, the stand up comedian, all of that comes under the media. You can do any of these things. But let me warn you, if someone of you says, I want to be a stand up comedian, you will have to have a major stable career before you move into stand-up comedy. Not everybody can become a stand-up comedian of reckon at the world level, and I don't even know how long that career will last because your thinking ability should be very quick. So if you want to become a stand-up comedian, make me very sure that off late now there are one or two institutes which have started offering courses with these things. But be very good that your sense of humor, your quick wit, your quick thinking, your language ability, your oratory skills all have to be good if you want to be a stand up comedian. My advice to you is slightly conservative advice: do a basic graduation, a BA, which does not take too much of your time, and then move into stand up comedian because that's something that you learn on the side, you learn on the job, and then you do it. Likewise, photography, media studies, all of that, you can do your BA with any of that. Bangalore University has BA photography, BA fine arts, all of that. Otherwise, you can learn photography with private institutes. There are a lot of private institutes. If any one of you is interested, but let me warn you that that study by itself is very, very expensive because the cameras that you have need to have run, each camera need, each lens, not the camera, you'll get the basic camera, but then each lens runs into lakhs of rupees, and you will have to buy as many lenses and then learn, and each course that you learn will be expensive. So if you're passionate about photography, start small but have a basic graduation. Do either a BBA, a BA, whatever, depending on what you're studying, and do that. Air hostess and teaching, I've already explained to these people. Apart from that, there is also fashion technology. You can move into the fashion field. You can do your design. You can move into fashion design. You can move into game design. You can move into any of these fields and you can go forward with that. Apart from that, there is also something called the administrative services, which is open to both commerce and to humanities. It's the IAS and the KES. That's also a career that you can look at. IAS, you become the administrative services. You're opening up, you're moving into the administrative services of the country, civil services. You become an IAS or an IPS. There are 24 divisions and all of that. I'll explain in a little while. Otherwise, you can also move into the state level administrative services. That's called the KPSC exams, Karnataka Public Service exams. You can complete that and you become an administrative officer within the Karnataka state. You can do either one of them. And I think, yeah, that is what. Apart from that, there will be things like, you can move into, what is that called? You can move into home science. You can go into any of the vocational courses, the culinary arts, the baking. These are all not exactly hospitality management, but you can go and do something called food technology. It's a vocational course. You can do food technology. You can do catering. You can do what is that called? You It's called baking and something else. If you're really fascinated with food and you want to go either commerce or arts, you can move into it. You don't have to go to the hospitality management course and do the entire course, because that's also grilling. You can do the short term courses, and then if you want to become an entrepreneur, set up your own business. I know many girls who moved into catering. It's called food technology. In Bangalore, you have it in many polytechnic colleges, SJPC, I'm saying. And there's another one which is called home science, which is open for both commerce and humanities. Home science is what you study at the degree level. We have our own VHD college in Bangalore. You go there and study home science, and then you can move into human development. After moving into human development, you can do your PhD in human development. You come out as a person who is able to understand people. Side by side, if you get yourself some counseling and supplement it with that, you can really move into the uh, field of humanity, of human sciences. And then you have sports and physical education. Sports and physical education is something that is also open to all of you. Adventure sports, you can go into it. If you're an outdoor person, you want to do it. Again, for all of these things, you have to have a graduation, because these are things which are offered by private institutes, and it is also your ability to pick it up. So you can move into it, but then you will have to have a basic graduation. Though most of them prefer science graduates, if you have taken math in the PUC level, you can definitely go and do it. Fitness and yoga, physical fitness and yoga. Anybody from any stream can get into it and study fitness and yoga. You can go to SVASA and you can do I think it's a 3 year or a 2 year course. You come out as a master of yogic sciences, and then you can also do your PhD, which is an integrated course. You can do it in 5 years and you become an yogic master, and you can teach yoga. That's a big thing these days. Everybody wants to be fit now, especially in the face of the pandemic. You've seen a lot of people have started saying, I want to be fit, I want to have my immunity well. So what do these people do? They teach yoga one-on-one. I have a yoga instructor who comes online and teaches me yoga twice a week. She charges by the hour. She's a BA graduate, not even of your generation, from a hitherto previous generation. But she, after BA, she just did a plain BA, and then she learned yoga, and now she's teaching and she's charging people by the hour in a day, even if she does 5 hours. So you imagine what is happening. Online tutoring is available. There are so many opportunities for all of you to actually look at the careers that are available. In a little while, the chat box, I think the chat box should be open by now. In a little while, I will start answering the questions, and then you will know what are all the things that are available. I'm also looking at, have I missed out anything? I don't think I've really missed out anything as such. Uh, Economics, law, fashion design, yes, I've told you. Film visa, be design, product design, all of that is all open to you. Design courses, because I can't cover so many things in just about 1 hour. I can't give you that much of information. So that is one. The new careers that are open for you people are social media management. That's a new, very new, it's called the Sunrise Careers. because it's a very, very new career, because people are required. See, every celebrity, every important person needs somebody to manage his social media. Otherwise, I can't. If, let's say, I was, no, don't take me. Let's take our prime minister. Somebody out there is managing his social media. Somebody out there is answering all his Twitter handles. It's not just about our prime minister. It's about all the popular stars. Take Amitabh Bachchan. Maybe Amitabh Bachchan is writing on his own. I don't know. I don't know, because I do not have the information. All those popular figures, their social media is being managed by somebody. There is a career out there. Anybody can enter. How to become? You can do an degree in journalism, public relationships. There is a management professional that is at postgraduate level. You do something called public relations PG. When you do public relations, then you can go and become a social media manager. And you can do, what do you do? You're going to go out there and manage their social media, their LinkedIn profiles, updating it every now and then, putting up something, all of that. People who are good with IT. And for applied services of IT, if you do your BCA, even if you do BCom, you can do short courses and then you can get into it. You can get into management of IT, the user end things, the testing and all that. You can also learn and you can do it. That's another profession that is available to you. So I can go on like this, but I want you all, I hopefully you people have thought of what you would like to do and how you would like to study, and then ask me enough questions so that I can answer you, because that makes more sense for me to answer and then tell you. All right. So I think I am ready to take on questions and then answer all your questions. Whatever I have had to say, because this is the basic details that I can give you, basic details about all the careers that are open to you. Whatever you have chosen for whatever reason, now, like I told you in the beginning, it's a time for reflection. Don't look at what subjects you like and what you don't like, all right? But look at what you want to do. Look at where you want to be and say, what is it that is going to take me to that place? It's like you decide that you want to go to Delhi, you have to find out, how can I reach Delhi? If you want to reach there quicker, you have to fly. If you have time available, you can take the train. If you say, I want to enjoy the journey and spend time on the road, you can take the road. So now you decide where you want to go and then say, how do I want to reach that place? That is what you have to do. Yes. Now I think I'm ready for the questions. We can open up the questions, please.
First question, Asha.
Yeah.
Suppose we qualify for CA and complete our articulation, but find CA final inconvenient and difficult. How can we shift to company secretary? Also, is CA foundation a common stage for both CA and CS?
Well, if you come up to the inter, you've passed the inter, you finished your articleship, but you don't qualify in the final, or you're not able to complete it, or you decide that it's too difficult, you don't want to do it, you don't have to do anything further. You can do your ACCA, which is an easier exam, and you get exemptions from some subjects. If you've passed your inter and you've done your articleship, you can do that easily, and you become a certified chartered accountant, and you can get a good placement. Even if you don't do ACCA, you will still gain gainful employment in any company as there at the account management level as an accountant. Job is guaranteed if you go till there. But then you decide that, no, I don't want to do this, I want to move to CS. For whatever reason, as you're doing your articleship, you want to decide to move into CS, you will get certain exemptions in a few subjects for your CS. The foundation is not the same. CS has a different foundation, CA has a different foundation, CMA has a different foundation. However, interdisciplinary transfers are permitted, and when there is an interdisciplinary transfer, you get exemptions from a few papers, but you will still have to do all their other papers and qualify, and then move ahead. For specific details, visit their website. The chartered company secretary has their own website. The if you I don't think I want to give it out here. If anybody is very interested, please send me. I'll be giving my number. I will give you the company secretary website name and the chartered accountancy website name, I will give all of that to you. You can go to their website and look at the details. And once you look at those details, you will be able to, what do you say, get more information about these because it's too much. They have a lot of subjects that they have to study, and what they get in exemptions, I can't tell you right now on this forum. All right. Okay. If any one of you want to know the chartered accountancy website, you can go and look at 1 minute. www.icai.org. www.icai.org. That is a chartered accountancy website. If you want to move into CS, their website is www.icsi.edu. www.icsi.edu. You can look up both these websites and you will get all the relevant information there. If you don't get, when I give you my number, you can send me a WhatsApp text and then I will guide you further. Yes, next.
What is the use of doing CAT exam?
CAT.
Yes, CAT exams.
CAT exam is a common aptitude test that you do post your graduation. That is to your eligibility get into an MBA course with the IIMs alone. We have about 8 IIMs. I think it's a little more now. If I remember right, it is 8 IIMs. That is All India Institutes of Management, which gives you an MBA degree. It's when you study with an IIM and you come out as an MBA professional, your standing in the field of professionals is very high. You get the best placements, you get better packages when you do your MBA from there. And now let me also tell you, that is the reason you take a CAT exam. You take a CAT exam after your graduation. The basic level education that is required to pass your CAT is graduation. You have to be a graduate to take up the CAT exam. You take a CAT exam and then you go into an MBA. And in MBA, there are specializations, HR, finance, marketing. There are a few IITs also which give you an MBA degree. And there you get the things like disaster management, NGO management, name it, and you have many different branches of MBA. To get there, you have to do your CAT exam. Yes, next.
Ma'am, I want to become an employee in a bank. Which course can I take up after my PUC?
After your PUC, if you want to see for getting into a bank, there is no requirement other than a graduate. All right. As long as you're a graduate and you pass their exams, you're authorized. The banking scenario in India is changing in a way from all these years hitherto, or previously, historically, what it was. Historically, if you are a graduate and you took their clerical exam, you become a clerk, and within 4 years, within 3 years, you could become an officer. That's how it is. Now, banks, moreover, especially in India, I'm saying especially, the number of clerical appointments are less. Everybody who is employed there is being taken as an officer. So the basic requirement for becoming an officer in a bank is a graduation. There are many colleges in Bangalore. I'm fast tracking. So basic graduation is required, and you have to pass the probationary PO exam. These are exams conducted by the banking industry, and then SBI, different banks conduct different banking PO exams. You can pass the PO exams and become a bank officer. Now, you can study any graduation, science, commerce, BCA, humanities, anything, and then take up the PO exam. That is all. They look at your age and they look at a graduation. So now if you've chosen to study commerce, this is a new thing. If you've chosen to study commerce, and there are people who they're not people, there are colleges in Bangalore which are offering BCom with banking as a subject, BCom with banking as a specialization. If you take it, you're also being prepared to take up the PO exam and you can pass. Otherwise, if you want to really get into banking, there are private exams which you can take. It is called the Institute of Banking. You can take those exams and then you can move into the banking industry. But if you want to work in a bank, finish your graduation first. If you get a seat in a college with banking as one of its specializations, you did BCom with banking. Do BCom, but don't do BBM. Even if you do BBA, it doesn't matter. There you go the route of taking the open exam, the PO exam. Here you get prepared for taking the PO exam, but ultimate is you have to take the PO exam to get into a bank. After POC, study BCom. If you can get with banking and banking specialization in some college in Bangalore, fair enough, you can do that. Otherwise, you can do a plain BCom, plain BBM, plain BBA, or even a BA and then get into bank. Yes.
What qualifications do I need to have to write the UPSC exam?
To write the UPSC exam, you need to be 19 years of age, above 19 years of age, and you need to be a graduate. Any graduate. You can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, you can be a BCA, you can be an BA, BCom, BBA, anything, any basic graduation. How UPSC or any civil service exams works is that you do a graduation and then you take up an UPSC exam. That's a civil services exams. So when you take this UPSC, that is a public service exams, that is the all India level, that's called the United, it is all over India. You become an IAS officer, IPS officer, and the IAS. The glamour positions are the IAS, the IPS, and the IFS. IFS here stands for Indian Forest Service. There is another IFS, please understand. IAS is Indian Administrative Services, IPS is Indian Police Services, IFS is Indian Foreign Services. These are the people who become foreign ambassadors and foreign diplomats. IFS people become foreign diplomats and become ambassadors. Not as soon as you become an IFS officer, you have to run, you have to have a seniority. There's a hierarchy there. So these are the, what do you have to take? The exam works like this. After graduation, prepare. It's not an easy exam. You will have to take coaching and then you'll have to get prepared to take the exam. It's hard to crack that exam. You sit, study for a year, and then crack the exam. And after you finish that UPSC first level exam, that's called the prelims. It's called the prelims. After the prelims, you will have one more paper to cover on a subject of your specialization. Let us say you have studied economics. You have to give another paper, study for that paper because that is your specialization. Depending on your specialization, you will get posted to the departments. And then you take up that exam. It doesn't end there. Then you have an interview and a group discussion round. You have to clear all these rounds. And then only you can become an UPSC or an IAS. In that IAS, IPS, IFS, I've told you 3 departments, but there are other departments as well. Indian Revenue, Indian Taxation, Indian Railways, Indian Forestry Services. There are also openings there for these civil servants to be there. They are at the head of those departments. Provided your ranking, basing on your ranking, you're posted to, basing on your ranking and your expertise, you're posted to relevant departments. This is one way when you become an all India level administrative person. Now, when you want to do it within our Karnataka state, transfers, positions is all within Karnataka state. Similar to UPSC, you have KPSC exams. You will become an officer who will know the laws, the same pattern, the same exam pattern, but the exam is conducted by our Karnataka state. There it is conducted by the union. It is called not United, it's called the Union Public Service Exam because the entire country is taken. Okay, most of you only have heard of IAS and IPS, and it is a very glamorous position. All right. Yes, next.
I wanted to know more about computers and the profession that we can take up after 12th.
Computers. If you're interested in computers, what in computers are you interested in? It depends on where you want to fit in. Are you a creative guy? Are you looking at creative creation? Are you looking at, what are you looking at? If you've studied math, you're very creative. You can go into computers. You can go into computer aided design. You can go into computer design. What is it? Game design. You can go into any of those creative fields which use computers. You're not creative, but you like computers. Like I previously told you, you can study your BCA, that is computer applications, and you can also supplement it with languages, learn the newer languages. Uh, there are a lot of languages. I'm stuck still with Java, and there was Python, and there was something else, a few things which came up. I don't know what has come up after the Python. So after Python, I don't know why people, computer professionals call themselves Java and Python and these kind of things. For me, when I hear of the word Java, I'm always reminded of the motorbike, and when I hear the word Python, I'm always reminded of nature and wildlife and snakes. But anyways, that apart, you can learn languages. You can do BCA. You can learn languages, and you move into the software profession. All right, but you have to be good at math for that. You have to do your BCA. Otherwise, you don't want to do anything, but you like the end use of computers. Then for commerce students, you can do computer applications like your tally and other things. You will still be working on computers. For arts students, you can learn basic languages, the using languages, and then creation. For humanities students, to learn, what I said, social media managers, learn to handle computers. That is what you can do. That is how you move into computers. All right, next.
There is an exam called IPMAT after 12th standard, which if I clear, I can join IIM Indore or IIM Rohtak for 5 years, which includes BBA plus MBA from IIM. My question is doing the above worth it?
Yes, if you can get into it, it definitely is worth it. It's not just them. You can even go into institutes like TIS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences. If you're interested in management, if you're interested, you can look at all those IITs which are offering management courses. You can also look at integrated courses. TIS also offers integrated courses. It is Social Science Institute. You can go there, explore. It is definitely worth it. You can go and do it. MBA is not only through IIMs. ISP in Hyderabad has got a lot of, they also have an integrated course. ISP Hyderabad also has. I didn't mention it here, but you can do. If you're aware of it, you can do. You can do it. It's worth it.
Can you elaborate on what options are available after the commerce course?
I don't know what options are available after the commerce course when you ask me something like that. Are you saying after commerce, what can I do? Yes, after commerce, you can move into MBA. After commerce, you can move into, I'm looking at it in terms of progression. Please, I'm not looking at it in terms of commerce. Because you've studied commerce, you can get gainfully employed. With just a basic BCom degree, you can get gainfully employed. You can move into business. You can set up your own business. You can become an entrepreneur and you can do business because you've got a basic graduation. Now, otherwise, you say, no, I don't want to do just a clerical kind of a duty. I want to do something bigger. Then there are two ways. After BCom, do you want to become a management professional or do you want to move into, what do you say, MCom? Are you still wanting to study more and more of the same subject? Then you can move into MCom. What is the progression with an MCom? Again, you can move into banks, gainful employment with banks. You can move into teaching. If you've done MCom, you become a master of commercial subjects, all the commerce subjects. You can teach at colleges. And right now, let me tell you, hitherto the belief was that teachers and college professors are not paid a very good salary and all of that. No, but if you really study very well, BCom, MCom, you study, get good grades, and then you pass your NET exam, you are taken in as a professor. And if you're employed by a UGC scale college, UGC approved college, your salaries can start anywhere from 40, 45K to 85, 90K. Of course, the other catch here is that most colleges in cities are now not just asking for MCom or post graduation. They're also looking at you're holding a doctoral study. You have to have finished your masters, and you should either be doing your PhD or you should already have a PhD. PhD will mean another minimum 5 years of study, minimum. I'm saying minimum 5 years of study. You will have to have a doctoral PhD, and you have to be a doctor. Then you are employed by any of the colleges, and your salaries are pretty good. Yeah, that is the progression. That is what you can do. And you can do look at insurance companies, multinational companies, all of them require commerce people to work. TCS employs so many commerce graduates. Your Y&N also employs commerce graduates. Your, what is that? The other one, very popular, Goldman Sachs also employs become graduates. But you're doing basic work. As you're doing basic work, you get more qualifications, you can go up the ladder, you can move into banks. There are opportunities everywhere if you look at it. Yes, next.
How can I get into politics with the humanities stream?
Well, the joke is to get into politics, you don't need anything. You don't need to study humanities, you don't need to study anything. You only have to be of a certain age, and you should have worked enough with, allied yourself with any one political party in the country, and you should be in their youth wing. You should have done a lot of work, and then you go into politics. But let us think that the face of Indian politics is changing. A lot more of you who got formally educated and are good and do it. If you're really keen on that, study economics and political science in humanities. Since you're only in first PUC, you will still be studying all the subjects. Choose in your BA level, choose humanities, choose, political science, choose economics, and then move into what do you need to do to get into politics. You can study this and then preferably become an IAS or an IPS officer, and then go out to becoming a politician. Also allow yourself, do a lot of work, and then move in. You can get there. That is how you get into politics. All right, you don't have to get to mainstream politics. You don't have to actually stand for an election and win and lose. That also is not politics at itself, because every politician is backed by bureaucrats. Every politician is backed by a think tank which is thinking for him. I'm talking of major key players here. They are backed by people who can study the world, study economics. There is even people who study, what do you say? I've forgotten the name of that profession. People who study the, what do you say, the election results, and are creating which party will win. I forgot, and just now that word is not coming to me. So that's also a study by itself. You can do that. You can learn to analyze. He's an analyst who's analyzing poll surveys and then doing it. You can get into that as well. But basic that you need to do, if you want to do that analysis at humanity levels, please make sure that your college gives you statistical studies, it gives you economics, it gives you political science. These three subjects you have to study. And then only you can move into this field. Yes. Next.
I want to enroll into a foreign university after my PU. I'm interested in language, English in particular, and history. Ma'am, can you suggest on which career path I should look out for if these are my interests?
Well, you can do your humanities with history, get a college and do histories. As of now, what I suggest for you, if you're looking at going abroad, I know whether you want to do it going abroad after PUC because it's going to be expensive. If you want to study history, do you want to study the questions that you have to ask yourself is, do you want to study Indian history, or do you want to study some other country's history, foreign history or world history? And if you want to go abroad for your undergrad studies, you will still have to take this ACT, you will have to take the SAT, you will have to take the IELTS, or you will have to take the TOEFL. And then with those marks, you will have to apply to an university, either private or public, which offers liberal arts. Because there abroad, you don't have plain, you can't study history. You will have to do liberal arts in which history comes, and then you will have to progress into studying history by itself. Here, if you want to study Indian history and then go abroad, yes, that is going to be a challenge because you will study only Indian history. Here, you can study at the graduate level. I'm sure you study a little bit of the world history as well. So do your humanities studies with history, and then again you will have to apply to a foreign university, depending on your choices, because I can't answer, because there you have so many universities. Depending on which university will accept you, not accept you, you will have to do a lot of research there. If you want definite help there after you finish your graduation, you can still get back to me, and if I'm still around, then I will definitely help you. I'll help you into locating what colleges are there. Probably if you've studied only Indian history, they'll ask you to do a bridge course or something like that, and they will take you on there. Many foreign universities do offer history as studies itself. Yes, next.
Can we do CA and MBA simultaneously, or should I do one after the other, and which one first?
Well, if you have to do for MBA, what is required is you have to have a graduation. You have to be an undergraduate. The minute you start doing your chartered accountancy, that's something that I forgot to tell you earlier. Once you take up your CPT or your foundation, you clear it, and then you clear your inter. You don't have to necessarily pursue your BCom. You don't have to do it at all, because you are studying at a higher level than your BCom requirement. So you don't study it. So you do not fulfill the basic requirement there to do your MBA. So what happens is you finish your CA and then go to MBA. Otherwise, if you're doing, because I have youngest chartered accountant of India, she is personally known to me. She belongs to my family. So she studied BCom. She studied PUC in a local college without mentioning the name. She studied commerce at PU, cleared her CPT, cleared her inter. She was studying first year degree when she cleared her inter, and then she dropped BCom. She continued to study CA. She did her articleship, and then she enrolled herself into an evening college in Bangalore and completed her BCom, because she said, if I can't finish the final, then I will be left with no degree. So she completed, but it was very, very strenuous. She used to work for 20 hours a day. She finished her BCom, and then she finished her CA as well. She completed it in track, just 1 year extra she took. BCom, and then she finished her CA. She's now in Chennai. She's a practicing chartered accountant. She has her own firm. Her husband is also a chartered accountant. She's she's gainfully employed. She has a separate practice. Her husband has a separate practice. She's doing good. She's doing good. So if you decide, you can do that. But you don't necessarily have to do CA and then do MBA. If you do your CA, you're a professional. You can do it afterwards, or when you're studying, because CA final is very difficult to crack. So don't take on additional load there. Finish and then do your MBA. All right? Yes. Next. Next.
I want to pursue entrepreneurship. What should I start with? BCom, BBA, or BBM?
If you want to be an entrepreneur, you don't have to do any of these things. Notwithstanding what I just now said, my previous statement, please do BBA, or either one will do, because entrepreneur is more your skill than anything else. To become an entrepreneur is one who's very business oriented, who is very quick on his thinking, his skills, his risk taking ability, his problem solving skills, his management skills, his the ability to judge, gauge people, the ability to say, okay, this will work, this will not work, the ability to think for long term thinking and long term planning. All of that you have, you can become an entrepreneur. You don't need to have any studies, but it's a skill that you need to learn. So anyways, because you're studying, this is again my conservative approach, I will say do what is necessary. BBM probably because you can become a good manager. It also helps you. When you do BBA, it is more of administration, it's more of management. BBM, you get a larger perspective. That's the only difference between these two courses. You can do either. Don't waste your time doing BCom, because if you're an entrepreneur, you're not going to sit down and write accounts. You're going to employ somebody who will do your accounting for you. So do either BBA or BBM, and then you can become an entrepreneur. And entrepreneur is more a mindset than anything else. Yes. Next.
Is there a career in computer science industry which can be done without maths?
However much I would like to tell you, yes, sad part is no. You need to know math. You need to know math. Unless you're very, very design oriented, very creative, and then you learn. Even to create those designs, you need to know a little bit of math. If you're very poor in math and find math difficult, it is going to be difficult. Let's be honest. Let's not live in a world of fantasy. But basic math, at least you need to know. You don't have to be a master of math, but little math you have to. Yeah. Next. Unless you're doing it only using computers only for drawing and painting or doing tally or something that for that, if you're only doing it at the user end like the CAD that I was talking, that is architect's office. There are a lot of people who are called draftsmen. They have an understanding of, they're very good, their artistic skills, they can learn, do a computer course, see CAD and then do it, or you can go into animation, web designing and all of that. But even there, a little understanding of math is necessary. You can go into web designing, what is it, animation, all of that you can do, graphic design, all the design related fields you can go. They will also, little bit of math is necessary. Next.
Ma'am, after completion of MBA, what job opportunities do we get?
Can you repeat the question, Anu?
After the completion of MBA, what job opportunities do we get?
Well, the job opportunities, as many as there are corporate houses and as there are companies, or there are businesses. Every company needs a management professional. Every banking industry needs. You can have job opportunities with an MBA. You can even get into teaching if you have an MBA degree. You can get into teaching. You can become an entrepreneur yourself. You can, I know a lot of MBA professionals who now started, what do you say, this tutorials for cat coaching. All of them come out of IITs and MBA graduates get together and they start teaching and training students to take the CAT exam. I'm just giving you one example of an opportunity that is there. Every bank is prepared to employ MBA graduates. Every insurance company is prepared to employ MBA graduates. Every what do you say, every teaching college will also employ you, because you only have to pass the NET exam, then you can become a teacher, because you already have a postgrad in business administration. You can become, then many corporate houses take MBA graduates at their what do you said, at the management level. They are taken up as industries, both technical industries, non-technical industries, health industries, hospitals. They employ MBA graduates. There are, but you should be a good one at that. Okay, your scores, your language, your communication ability, your leadership skills. You should be a leader who should know how to work with team. All of this, all these life skills as they call it, you will have to be good at all of that. If you're good, then you get a good opportunity. Yes.
What careers can one hope to pursue with degrees dedicated in discipline of history, economics, and political science?
History, economics, the most important thing is, when you study history, you can move into what is known as uh, teaching. I'm sorry, I'm just looking up and then I'll tell you. I just want to rattle out a few things to you. Careers in history. You can become a researcher, you can become a historian, you can become an archaeologist, you can become a curator, you can become a writer, you can do your civil services, and you can become a teacher. So this many opportunities are there. So each of this you have to look at. And history, when you study, you can also get gainful employment under historians themselves to research and to start writing historical articles and to collate history, because that is where our country is lacking. We have not sufficient documentation of our own history. So it's a big thing right now. You can do that as well. You can gain employment in the historical division of the Ministry of External Affairs, Cultural Affairs divisions. Then people with foreign languages are chosen there. All India Handicrafts Board, Ministry of Education, Department of Tourism, Film Division of Government of India, Central Board of Film Censors, Ministry of External Affairs. These are all the places where you will get jobs if you are a historian, but you should be good. For all these niche careers, history is a very small aspect. So look at it. Economist, I've already told you, if you've studied history, economics, and political science, you can go into economic studies. You want me to rattle off all the degrees that you will get, all the career options with economics? Just give me a moment, because I really can't keep exactly like this. You will get opportunities even if you study economics. Economics sometimes are even employed with multinational companies because they want to study the economics. The economists work in multinational companies to work with along with their CMA professionals. So they're being economic in what they do. Next.
Ma'am, please elaborate a little more on how one can study fitness and nutrition. Name of the course or colleges offering the courses.
Fitness you can learn, but nutrition you cannot. Because at PUC you have taken commerce or humanities, you cannot do nutrition unless there is a private institute offering you the nutrition course, and then which will have a bridge course, and then you can go ahead and do it. You please explore in Ayush, and then in any one of the what do you say, the Ayurvedic consortium, the natural sciences. You can do it in naturopathy, I guess, but you can do it Ayurveda and naturopathy. If you can do it, locate it there. I also do not have an exact information of how, but if you want to go in it mainstream, I'll find out and I'll keep myself ready. If you want to go mainstream at science, you should have studied science at PUC, because you need chemistry and biology both for nutrition. So then you could have moved into nutrition. Or the other way of looking at it is pursue your PUC here and do through NIOS, you pursue biology and chemistry, and then add those two papers and then do nutrition. You can get in touch with me. I will really research this and I will tell you. But fitness is something that you can learn. Fitness is about yogic sciences, and there are a lot of private institutes which are offering fitness certificates. I myself, though right now I'm not a fitness trainer, I myself am a certified and a qualified fitness trainer. When I was younger, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I used to train people in fitness, but now I don't do, because I have to take care of my own personal physical health. So I got my certification with an organization called Lina Morga. She is an fitness trainer settled in Mumbai. So she trained us and she gave us certificates, and all those her certificates are valid across India. So you can gain fitness certificates. There are a lot of sports management institutes which are offering these certifications. You can even go into sports management after your PUC. For that, you don't need science. You, even if you studied BCom and BA, you can get into sports management. There is a bachelor of sports management. There's a bachelor of masters of sports management. You can get in there, and what do you say, you can get into it, and then also get qualification depending on what you like. If you like yoga, you like your Zumba, you like all the other things, you can learn all of that, and then you can get certified in that, and then you can become a fitness trainer. But it is about how fit are you and how trained are you. That is how it is. Yes. Next.
I'm interested in music and music production. My question is, how do I get a decent amount of investment before I start a business, and how do I go about in the music industry?
Well, that's a little tricky when you're looking at music investment. Music by itself is a very rich uh, heritage profession. But also, let me warn you, and whoever is asked this question, ask yourself: are you already practicing music? Are you already associated with a musical group? Are you working in the field of music? Have you trained yourself in any form of classical music? Because if you are, then the chances of your reaching there is easier. Otherwise, it is going to be difficult. Why? Because if you don't know, there are, let's presume that there are 1,000 people who want to make a mark in music. There are only one or two who really make it, get the credibility, get the fame, and everything else that is required. So now, if you're looking at just starting a musical company, it's just being an entrepreneur. I don't know whether you are a musician yourself, whether you're an vocalist, whether you're a instrument player, whatever it is. If you're not any one of those things and you just want to start a music company, and you can employ musicians, you can employ composers, you can employ instrument players, you can employ a vocalist, then it's just an idea of business. For business, getting funds is like any angel funding, any venture capital funding. That is what you do. That it all depends on how much network you have. If you are yourself the musician, you are the one who's singing, you are the one who's creating music, then do, after whatever you've taken up now in PUC, move into fine arts, move into performing arts, create, pass those exams, junior, senior, Vidwan, all of that you pass. And after you pass that, associate yourself with a music troupe, gain knowledge in the company. Once you establish, your name is kind of floating around in the music circles, your name is recognized around that, then you can look at starting your own company. And of course, in the meantime, you will also network with a lot of like-minded people, with a lot of other musicians, and then you can move in here. Yes.
So this question is similar to the last one, but slightly different. The question is, what are the career options and professions in music through commerce?
Well, through commerce, there is no music. See, commerce is very different from music. Commerce may at best help you establish a music career and have your own music company, like starting a school of music. You are a musician yourself, you're learning, you're passing all the exams, you're finished and you're really singing, you're giving concerts, you're associated with a troupe which is singing across countries, and when you performed in a lot of concerts, you're also enriching your knowledge and all of that. So you're a musician of standing. What will your commerce studies help you achieve? It will help you achieve to start your own music school. And that music school can break even and collaborate with other organizations. That is what it will help you. Otherwise, per se, commerce studies will not help you. In fact, you don't even have to study commerce, which is more technical, and as in terms of accounts and statistics and all of that. You can shift into easier subjects with humanities and study humanities instead. Right now, POC, study commerce, pursue your music, and then move into BA. It's easier and you have more time to practice, more time to devote for your music, because accounts is a subject which is very practical oriented. Statistics, which you need to do, financial accounting is very practical oriented. You need to know the rules, you need to know the laws, you need to sit down and actually learn it. And a lot of it is math in it. Commerce, your financial management, your financial accounting, your management accounting has a lot of statistics and maths in it. So you need to focus more on that. You need to spend a lot of time practicing all those problems. So commerce may not be the best fit if you really want to eventually make a mark in music. So if you want to, then shift to arts. Choose subjects which are easier, because even if you miss a couple of classes, you can read and learn by yourself. I'm not saying that humanities is no tough subjects. There again, if you choose economics, economics also has a lot of statistics and maths in it. The basic economics that you study at the PU level is different from the economics that you study at the graduate level. So there will be math. So look at it and then say, what is it that I would like to do? Yeah.
Next question. Do people who choose to become company secretary can even be qualified to become a CEO of any company?
To become a CEO of any company, it's not so much about qualification, it's so much about selection, and it's about your presence, about what you bring into the company. A CEO is a chief executive officer of the company. He is the person who is in charge of executing everything within the company, managing the company affairs. So he can be a CS, he can be a CS graduate, he can be anybody else. He can even be a BCom graduate or an MBA graduate who becomes a CEO. It is about the level of knowledge that you have, your network, what you bring into the company, your abilities, your skills. That is what makes you a CEO. And employed CS is not managing the day-to-day affairs of the company. The CS, a company secretary, is managing or governing what the company has not complied with, because every company has to comply with certain what do you say necessary uh, definite necessary laws of the land. They have to fall in line with some licensing, some submission of some documents. They have to have board meetings and pass resolutions, and all of that has to be documented. That has to be reached. All those things have to be registered with the registrars of companies. They're all protocols, they have to be maintained. And the company secretary is only checking all of these things. He is not getting into the nitty-gritty of managing the company, of managing which department is making what kind of money, which department needs a shot in the arm, which department needs to be revamped. That is what the chief executive officer, that's what the CEO is doing. The CEO is looking at what needs to be done within the organization, what needs to be, how I can get more funds, how I can market myself, how I can expand my business. He's looking at it in terms of his company and what his company will do. Whereas a company secretary is looking at, as this man is doing all of this, every new thing that he does is required to be complied with a statute of our country or the law of our country. So is this company complying with that? Is everything clean in this company? So tomorrow, no enforcement authority should come and say, you have not complied with this law, you do not have this board here, you do not have this. So that is what the company secretary is complying with. That is why company secretaries are employed not as CEOs. They may be employed as CEOs, wherein then they will do less CS work and more CEO work. A CS is dedicated to the governance of the company with regard to the statute and the law. Next.
Ma'am, what course do I do next to be a digital marketer?
Digital marketing is now the new wave that is happening. You can do commerce, you can do arts, you can do anything, because right now digital marketing is being offered only by private institutes. Slowly, a few universities are now taking it into their fore and then offering it at the postgrad level, or offering it as a certification. You can do digital marketing provided you are interested in marketing. BCom, BPA, you can do digital marketing. Even as you're doing your graduate studies, you can do courses and get knowledge in digital marketing. And then you will gain employment with all the e-commerce giants that we have.
My aim is to become an IAS officer and serve India. Can you provide me with all information that are needed so that I will do my best to accomplish my goal and serve India?
Yeah, like I told you, first finish your graduation. Any grad, I don't know what you're studying. If you have, what do you say, uh, finish your graduation, and when you apply for the civil services, they don't only look at your marks in your degree, they look at your 10th standard mark, they look at your 12th standard marks, they look at your entire school and college history. They look at how, what kind of, it's very easy to do very well in the final exam and not do well in the uh, your term and exams and all of that, but all of that plays a role. They're going to look at you as a person, they're going to look at you as what are the cultural activities, the extracurricular activities, what kind of a leader you have been, what have you contributed to the community. All of that is also taken into uh, uh, consideration. And then you have to apply for the UPSC exams. Like I was telling you, first become a graduate, BCom, BBA, BPM, anything. When you're in the second year degree, start preparing for your UPSC exams. There are coaching centers. There are coaching centers only for the civil services exam. If necessary, go there, enroll, because it is tough to crack a civil service exam. Enroll, prepare along side by side with your graduation. If you're finding that difficult, do a lot of community services, do a lot of leadership development programs, build your personality. Build your personality, and then the minute you finish your graduation, enroll for the UPSC service coaching exam coaching centers. Prepare for 1 year dedicated preparation for the UPSC. You prepare, take up the exam. Like I told you, I'm going a little more into detail because you've asked me. You will have the prelim exam, which consists of two papers, which will be of objective type. That's MCQs, which will have 400 marks. This is only a screening test because lakhs and lakhs of people in our country take up the UPSC exams, because many people aspire to be administrative service officers or professionals. So now when you take up that exams, that's a pure filtration process. Not everybody who applies, lakhs apply, but less than 1,000 get actually shortlisted. So this is the first level of screening that happens. After that, you have which is called the main exam. There are 9 papers. You have to write 9 papers in all in the main exam, which will comprise of even your specialization. That is what you have studied. You will have to pick your subject. By the time you complete your prelims, you will have to say, I will write my papers in economics because I'm very fond of economics and I want to go there. So you will write 9 papers, and then you will have a traditional the pen and paper, like how you write essays in your PUC exams. Like that, you will have to write essay type questions. And after that, there will be an interview and a personality test, and you will have group discussion. You will have a personality test, and that is how you go. You want the website? 1 minute. If I have it ready, I will give it to you. Otherwise, you send me a text and I will tell you what the exams is. Yeah, right now I don't have it ready. Here I don't have it. Yeah, that is how you do it. Take up your civil service exam. I'm glad that you're so focused and you're saying right from now that you want to be a civil service. You want to be an administrative officer. All the best to you. Study very hard right from now because it's very, very important. Build your personality as well. Next.
Ma'am, is ACCA equal to CA?
ACCA is not equal to CA. CA is separate. ACCA, there is no comparison. But like I told you, ACCA is for certified accountants. Not everybody can pass CA. So then there was what do you say, UK, what do you say? The United Kingdom had a course called the Certified Accountant. So then we got it here and then we started doing. But you are a professional. When you do your ACCA, you are a professional and it is a global certification. When you do your ACCA, like CA is only for India. But when you do ACCA, you can go gain employment anywhere in the world. This qualification is recognized globally. It is I don't even know the number of subjects that you will have to study. I have it written down somewhere, but there are a lot of subjects, and that also goes in 3 seriations, like how your CA goes. That's the only difference, but it is different from CA. You cannot equate it. The basic difference being this is global, that is only India. However, chartered accountants who have become chartered accountants with our All India Institute can also take one paper of the ACCA and they have chartered accountancy and also ACCA. They can do both. All right, that's how it goes.
I'd like to know more about the CFA course.
A CFA course is a course which is offered. It's called Certified Financial Analyst. It is not, I didn't speak about it because it is not available at the undergrad level. It is only after you have finished your undergrad level. You can do your BCom, you can do your Science BSc, or you can do your BTech, or you can do your MSc. The requirement is that you know math, you know statistics, you know economics, you know a little bit of accounts, and then you become, you know a little bit of all of this. The basic being that you have to be a graduate, and they have their own entrance exam, and you have to pass the exam and then take it up. That's why I didn't mention financial CFA. CFA originally started off as a private organization in India, and I hold a certification in CFA Inter. I have studied CFA as well, and it is only after you finish your basic graduation. You can look it up in www.icfai.org. There are a lot of things. I'm giving you the Hyderabad address. You can look at it and you will get a lot of details. Otherwise, you can go to www.isbf.edu.in. You can do financial analyst, that is CFA. Go to the ICFA one, they will give you the more details. But it's only after your graduation.
Ma'am, what course do I have to take up to become a journalist?
Just 1 minute, Anusha, before.
Yeah.
To take up your CFA, even if you have done your BA with political science and have done some form of maths, you need accounting, finance, business economics, statistics, and political science for entry qualification. Then you have to pass the entrance and all of that, and then you can get into ICFEI. Even if you've done political science, you will get into it. Yes, Anusha, can you repeat the question?
Yes. What do we have to take up to become a journalist?
To become a journalist, you can study either become right now and then move into mass media or journalism or mass communication. All three are allied fields. At the BA or the graduate level, you study mass media, depending on which college you apply and where you get. Mass means some colleges call it mass media, some colleges call it mass communication. They all are similar, but not exactly the same. So mass media, mass communication, journalism, you study any of these three and then go into journalism. Yeah.
Ma'am, what would you suggest, CAT or IELTS for an MBA?
No, for an MBA within India, you have to do CAT. IELTS is not an exam that is taken into consideration in India because English in India is a foreign language. Though we have taken it as in our country, we declare English as now what is considered the bridge language. Hindi is our national language and English is only a bridge language. But as far as we Indians are concerned, English is a foreign language. So when you go abroad, only then and only then you have to pass the IELTS or the TOEFL. Both are similar exams, but both are governed by two different governing bodies. Hence, they have different names. Both test you on English language proficiency. It is only meant for people who are trying to gain admission in a foreign university anywhere in the world. If you go to Australia, you have to take IELTS. Some Australian universities also accept TOEFL. If you have to go to the US, you have to take TOEFL, which is more recognized than IELTS. But of late, even IELTS is being recognized. If you go to Singapore, IELTS is more preferred than TOEFL. If you go to UK, IELTS is more preferred. So every university in foreign has a preference and will very clearly tell you whether they want TOEFL scores or whether they want IELTS or they are okay with both. They will tell you. These two exams have got nothing to do with studies within our country. CAT is only meant for MBA. CAT is the only exam meant for MBA. All right, you don't have to take IELTS or TOEFL.
I'm interested in communications and management. What should I do?
Yeah, if you're interested in communication and management, since you've either taken commerce or arts, humanities, and that's why you're here in today. So, what I would suggest to you is to take communication or media studies at your graduate level, mass comm or media studies, and then progress on to your, what do you say, masters in mass communication, and then look for a job in your field. That's a progression. Anusha, can you just repeat the question again, please?
Sure. I'm interested in communications and management. What should I do?
Okay. So you can do these two. You can do your master's in mass comm, or you can also go into an MBA, which is related to human relationships, which is related to public relationships, because you will get into management and you will also be in communication, not directly media communication. Public relation is also about communication. So you can look at it that way also. You can do your MBA HR, you can do your MBA PR, you can do your MBA IR, that is industrial relationships. You can do any one of those MBAs and get into the communication field, provided your communication is strong and good.
Uh,
Yes.
Asha ma'am, the question sessions are coming to an end, so you'll have to be a little quick, like a
Yes.
rapid fire session.
Yes, a rapid fire session. How much time do I have, Anusha?
Another 5 minutes.
Okay, now starts rapid fire. You can tell me. I've been going slow because I thought we had time. Yeah.
I'm planning to complete BCom. Then which course is better for next? Is it MBA or MA or MCom? I'm also planning to do IAS, but don't know IAS is better or KAS. What if I don't pass IAS?
Okay, okay. Now, after BCom, you don't necessarily have to study anything to take either the IPS, I mean, UPSC or the KAS. You can do both, or you can take both the exams, whichever one you clear, but it's the same amount of studies. The only bifurcation being that if you take the KAS, your KPSC exams, you're restricted to Karnataka. If you take the UPSC, you're all over India. Now, to take MCom, MA, or MBA, MBA, it is your choice. Nobody can stop you from choosing what you have to choose. Decide on where and which kind of a profession you would want to be in case you don't clear the civil services exams. And for civil services exams, if you don't clear that, you're only given 2 attempts. If you don't clear it, you will not be eligible to take it again. All right. So that's my answer. You can take anything at the postgraduate level. Next.
How do I get into film industry, into acting and dance? Are there any courses that I need to do?
Yes, you can do. They're all private courses. The FTII, the Institute, Training Institute, you can do your course in, what do you say, in acting, you can do, but always have a professional or a basic undergrad or postgrad career with you. Do one something which is simple and easy, which will get you money for your everyday living, and then pursue. Start associating yourself with theater groups, start acting, dancing. Shamak Dawar and these people have troops where they go and perform. It's only your performance which get you recognition, and only once you're recognized can you move into the Bombay film industry and other things. Only then and then. You should have grounding in acting. You should have degrees. You can do your BFA, acting and performance arts, it is called. Each has a different exam. You pass it and then move into, but also study something simple and have a basic stable graduate degree, and then move into their foreign film institute is one that I'm mentioning. Anupam Kher's institute is where he has his own drama or theater institute, which is very popular. You can train yourself there and become an actor, but not everybody who trains in acting becomes an important or a celebrity. There are lots of actors who never make it, so you can locally get into a theater group. Next.
I'm curious as to how one goes about pursuing a career in the field of psychology.
Okay, I'm glad you asked. That's my moment of pride in this entire session. So, yeah, what you have to do, even if you're studying commerce or humanities at the PU level, it does not matter. In your graduate level, study psychology. If you can get into an, if you're not studied psychology at the PU level, you cannot get into the honors psychology. Go into a college which, if you've studied psychology at PUC and or humanities, you study the honors psychology in a few colleges that are offering psychology. Study psychology majors and then do a couple of subjects which is mandatory. You have to do it. Or people who studied commerce move into the psychology stream and study psychology. After that, you do your master's in psychology. If you have done your BA psychology, then you can move into MS psychology. After you finish your MS psychology, you can collect a lot of what do you say, you can move into MPhil, which is with NIMHANS, and now a few universities are also offering MPhil in psychology. You do your MPhil in psychology, and then you go and do your doctoral studies in psychology. That is a natural progression. That is 3 years of graduation, 2 years of masters, 3 years or 2 years of MPhil, and then you do your doctoral studies. That is the whole route of being a psychologist. But you can stop at the master's level and you will still be a psychologist. But if you do your MPhil, then you get to be a clinical psychologist who is authorized to diagnose and give reports and certificates. Only that person is authorized to give certificates because they study abnormal. Even at MSc, you study abnormal psychology. But if you do MSc, you can diagnose and say that you have this particular thing and send them to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist will prescribe medicines if necessary. This is the difference, and this is how you go about. You can stop your studies at MS, and then, like me, you can move into allied fields like counseling, psychotherapies. There are as many psychotherapies as you can think of, that many, and learning is endless. And you can get as many certifications. Even now, I am pursuing global psychotherapy certification in 2 different modalities, and I will be getting that, acquiring that. I'm already a psychotherapist and getting 2 different modalities. So that is how you go about after MS. Thank you for asking me about psychology. That's beautiful. And I think we have come to the end of the session because the time is up. Now, let me tell you that my organization is situated in Malleshwaram, and I offer services for a fee, of course. I and a team of counselors and therapists offer our services for a fee. It is a charge service. I also do aptitude testing, which is again a paid service. And you can reach me out because I'm very, very concerned about the youngsters who are making difficult choices about choosing what they have to do for their lives. I'm leaving my number here with you, Anusha. You can please put that on the chat. My number is 9845668109. I repeat, my telephone number is 9845668109. Please do not start calling me because I will not be able to receive calls. Only if I'm free, I'll be able to receive calls. In the last 2 hours and all, I haven't seen my phone, so I don't even know where my phone is. So it will mean that I will have a collection of missed calls to return. Please send me a text on WhatsApp and I will respond whenever I'm free. Anywhere from 48 to 72 hours, I will respond to your WhatsApp text and give you the reply that you're looking for. All right. You can also contact me by through email. My email is asha, asha dot sidd at gmail.com. asha.sid at gmail.com. Even here, the same timeline applies. I may not be able to answer to all your queries, all your questions immediately because I may not have the time. I will need 72 hours to respond to your messages. All right. Okay, those. And you can also visit my website, which is www.drashasid.com, and look at the various courses. I offer courses, I do counseling, and all of that is put up on the website. You can look at it and have a look at my website, look at my profile and other things. So that is how it works. And I last message to all of you students and parents who are sitting out here. Students, don't worry that you haven't studied science. You've chosen wisely. If you've chosen for the right reasons, you've chosen commerce and arts. Make your choices now well. Reflect, introspect, and see where you want to go. Decide your goal and then choose what you want to study in the next coming years. There are as many opportunities as much as competition is. There are opportunities out there, but there is no shortcut to hard work. You have to put in your bit. You have to work very hard and look at all the opportunities. I've told you a lot of things today. Look at all of it and don't think when your parents tell no, don't do that, do this. Don't take them to be your enemies. They do it out of concern for you. They mean well for you. So that is why with their experience they tell you something. It's all to call for a discussion, not an argument. Discuss with your parents, and as a team you can go out and meet experts, you can meet teachers, discuss with your teachers, discuss with your parents, and all of you as a team can operate and you can chart your progression fast. And I say that because I trust the youth of today's country, of today's India, because you're all entering into a global power. You're going to be entering into a country when it is poised to become a global power. There is so much out there for you to achieve. And I also have a selfish interest because in the next 10 years, I'm going to be old and I'm going to be tottering around in the house, and I may need all you people's help in different capacities. I don't know which of you I will come across, how many of you will help me, I will require. So I'm not just talking for myself, I'm talking for our generation. I trust you guys. I know you have more intelligence than we have. I know you have more capabilities and more skills. Only thing is, don't get distracted. Put those skills, put the intelligence to use. Work very hard. It's just for a few years. Work very hard, make a mark in this world, and take care of the world. And the world is yours. Thank you and all the best. Thank you for the college. Thank you to the teachers, and thank you for the organizing committee. My humble pranam to each one of you. And dear parents, please, when your child says something which looks very out of the world, do not get too perturbed. Sit with him and explore, because his mind is fresh. He's looking at newer things. The world is growing and he is growing with the world. So be of support and let's explore. If something is very scary, reach out to an expert and they will definitely help you. My last pranam to all of you. Thank you. All the best. Have a good day. Stay healthy and stay safe.
Good afternoon, all. Your power to choose your direction of your life allows you to reinvent yourself, to change your future, and to powerfully influence the rest of the creation. I'm sure that today's insightful session by Dr. Rasha said has inspired, created awareness, and has made our students to contemplate on choosing a career path that best suits them. On behalf of the management, staff, and students of SJPUC, I deem it my privilege to thank Dr. Rasha Seth for her time and valuable inputs. Thank you very much, ma'am. Also, thanks to your team members for their support in conducting the webinar. I thank our principal, Reverend Father Melvin Lobo SJ, our vice principal, Ms. Renuka Zachariah, and our campus minister, Reverend Father Wilson Benis SJ, and all the staff members of SJPUC for their constant support and encouragement. Special thanks to Mr. Leo Anto from the Computer Science Department for his technical support in conducting this webinar smoothly. Thank you, sir. I extend my sincere gratitude to Sadhana, the counseling team of SJPUC, for organizing and planning this webinar. And finally, thanks to all our students for their active participation. Thank you, one and all. Take care.